When I was little, I had a lot of bad stuff happen to me. Stuff my mom doesn't know about, stuff my mom does know about, stuff I've never told anybody. But I have so many bad memories and so much bad stuff happened to me that when I was little that once I became a teenager and once I got older, became aware of my body, I felt like that was all I was good for. All my life there has always been like a little voice that tells me it's gonna get better. Don't give up. You gotta hang in there. You gotta keep going forward, Jessica. You can do this, Jessica. But most of the time, I don't want to hear that little voice because I feel like the little voice doesn't understand what I'm going through. It was so just sad. Like I felt like worthless. Like I didn't matter to nobody. Like what was the point? So I tried to kill myself a couple times, hoping that, one day I would be one of them stories on the news that you see where they'd be like, oh, in another news, girl found dead from a drug overdose. When I was 17, no, I wasn't 17, I was like 15, 16 years old. I said my first real prayer to God ever. Like I told God that if he would send somebody that would love me for me and give me kids, that I was swearing like, God, please, 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 please let me have just one baby, just one person in the whole world that'll actually love me and want me around and be there for me and that I can care about, because I was so lonely. I was so lonely. I was in and out of juvenile hall so much that when I was like 16, I went in for something petty, like running away. And the judge was so tired of seeing my face that he said if he saw me back in his courtroom one more time, they were gonna send me to CYA, which is like prison for kids. So when I went to the group home that I was sentenced to, it was where they hold you so you don't have to be sitting in juvenile hall while they find you a placement. So one night I was there and the staff were talking about how they couldn't find me a place to go because I was such a flight risk, nobody was willing to take me. And that they felt bad because they knew if they took me back to juvenile hall, what would happen to me. And they never knew I listened. I was up, I left. I ended up coming to Chicago. I was like 17. I met a man. We started dating. I had a baby by him. I had 2 more babies by him. We ended up getting married. I was with him for 10 years. In 2011, because basically I was too afraid to leave my ex, my children were taken because my oldest son accidentally shot my baby boy, who was my youngest at the time. So my children were taken from me. All of them were taken from me. I felt like I had failed my kids, that if I was a good mother, I wouldn't be dragging them through this process, that if I really loved them, I would let them be with people that were better able to take care of them. But something was just not letting me give up. The longer that my kids were not with me, that loneliness started creeping back. And I didn't even realize that it was creeping back until 2014. I met Charity's dad and I got pregnant. And at the end of the year, like around New Year's of 2015, I had found another job and I was working that job, but because I had found out I was pregnant with her, I wasn't gonna be able to stay. So I ended up quitting the job because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be able to work anyway. And when I quit, it was like the first week of January. I think I came here for the first time to the mission in like March or April of 2015. I got saved downstairs in the auditorium because of one of the sermons. That was the first time for real that I felt not so alone. Like the loneliness had started to go away. And it was making me feel better. And then after I got saved, like a month later, I was able to get a job through the CARE program. And that was a job that I really wanted. In August, I had Charity, and we stayed in the hospital for a week, and she was taken by DCFS. They took custody of her. I was so heartbroken because I thought I had been doing everything that I could to make sure she didn't get taken from me, but nope. They took her, and it almost destroyed me. So they said that they wanted me to have a more solid daycare plan for when I went back to work. They said that's why they took her. So I was going around to all these daycares to figure out where my daughter was going to go to daycare when I went back to work. I couldn't find a daycare that I could afford for her to go to. Like, I could afford it when I go back to work, but I couldn't afford to pay the deposits. So I had got to a point for real where I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to ever see my daughter because I can't take her to daycare. So I had really got to a point where like, well, I'm going to quit then. That way I'll be able to watch her and I won't need daycare. So I came and talked to Miss Bowers, who's a counselor on the program. And I told her exactly what was going on with me, about how I was trying to get my kids back, about how I wanted Charity to come home, what I needed. And she said, well, if you're on the program, then we'll be able to watch the baby while you work. That same day, I called my caseworker and told her I was thinking about getting on the program. My caseworker told me that they were actually in a meeting to see if I could have increased visits with Charity. So I told her about the program, and my caseworker supervisor was in the room. So she put me on speaker, and I explained the program to my caseworker and to the supervisor and what I had just been told and what the program entailed. And the supervisor was like, that sounds like an excellent program. If you get on that program, we'll have no problem giving you the baby back. I came back upstairs after lunch, filled out the paper, and I joined the program. And yeah, at first when I joined the program, it was purely so I could get my daughter back. But I'm so thankful that I did finally join the program, because since I've been on the program, they've taught me that, yeah, okay, you make bad decisions, but no matter what kind of bad decisions you make, as long as you love God, God is always gonna love you. They've taught me, they've really had it sink in that as long as I'm saved and I believe in my heart that Jesus is the Son of God, I'm good. Like, there's nothing that I will never be lonely again. When I tell them stuff here and it's good news, it's like everybody is really happy. And when they see that I'm sad and it's like they pay attention to me here, and that's why I say that they really care, because people will be looking at me and they be like, Jessica, you gotta hang in there, and they'll tell me why I should be hanging in, and they'll tell me what they see why I should keep pushing forward, and that helps. My caseworker told me that if I'd have joined the program sooner, I'd probably have my kids back by now. My caseworker has told me this. People have told me that since I've been on the program and since I've been here at the mission, that I'm a better person than they knew when I was out there working, taking care of myself. So the mission, it's awesome. I gotta thank God for everything that he's done. He kept me safe, and like I said, he's always been there even when I wasn't listening. So I gotta thank him for that.